Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna सभी लोग गाइए, बोलिए हरे राम हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Govinda
Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Lalita Vishaka, Jaya Radhesham, Lalita Vishaka, Jaya Radhesham. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jai Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma. Sri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma. Vandamoi Sagadana Mate Vandamoi Sagadana Mate Jahara prasadeva eva batoria jaha. Jahara prasadeva eva batoria jaha. Krishna prapti hoy cha hoyte Krishna prapti hoy cha hoyte Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitati Koriya Rakya गुरुमुख पद्मा वाक्या चितति कोरिया क्या हरण करिया माने आशा हरण करिया माने आशा श्री गुरु चरण रते जय सुभूत गति श्री गुरु चरण रते जय सुभूत गति प्रसाद पूरे सर्व आशा के प्रसादे पूर्व सर्व आशा चक्षुदान दिला दे जन्म जन्म प्रभु से चक्षुदान दिला दे जन्म जन्म प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित प्रेमा भक्ति जाहवते अविद्या विनाशा दैते प्रेमा भक्ति जावते अविद्या विनाशा जते वेदगा जहर तरित वेदगा जहर तरित ये गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधमदना हे गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनर बंधु लोकना लोकर जीवाना लोकना लोकर जीवाना प्रभु करो दया देगा मोरे पदो छाया प्रभु करो दया देगा मोरे पदो छाया देगा चकुचु श्री भुवाना देगा गुचु श्री भुवाना श्रीला प्रभुपाद पतित पवाना Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. श्रील प्रभुपाद गुरु पूजा की जय। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमती भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पश्चादिशतारिणे। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरार भक्तवृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरार भक्तवृंद। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरार भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Ram
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama. Jai.
Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Balava Girivaradhari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Banachari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava जय राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम जय राधे श्याम जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय गौरनिताय 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 जय गौरनिताय जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिल प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की श्री चैतन्य चरितामृत की निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे ऑल ग्लोरीज टू assembled devotees all glories to assembled devotees all glories to assembled devotees all glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. $55 ना हरे कृष्ण ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथानितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखानितां च नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे गुरवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय तदालय कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। Hare Krishna, we are reading Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. First of all, I would like to offer my obeisances in front of all the assembled Vaishnavas, and I thank you all of you for joining us today's Chaitanya Charitamrita class. In Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, first chapter, which is entitled The Spiritual Masters, Kaviraj Goswami gives a wonderful philosophy and describing Chatusloki Bhagavatam. So, this is also one of the Chatusloki Bhagavatam, which Lord Sri Krishna, Lord Vishnu himself, Supreme Lord, spoke to Brahmaji in 2nd canto, 9th chapter. So that is being quoted here in Chaitanya Charitamrita. First we will recite the verse. Yatha mahanti bhutani tesu nateswaham Yatha mahanti bhutani bhutesu chavachesvanu pravishtani apravishtani tatha tesu natesvaham Yatha mahanti bhutani bhutesu chavachesvanu pravishtani apravishtani tatha tesu natesvaham. Please recite. Mothers, Mataji. Mahanti bhutani bhutesu chavachesvanu word meaning and translation purport by Srila Prabhupada. Yatha, as Mahanti, the universal, Bhutani, elements, Bhutesu, in the living entities, Uchcha Avachesu, both gigantic and minute, Anu, after, Pravishtani, situated internally, Apravishtani, situated externally, Tatha, so, Tesu, in them, Na, not, Tesu, in them, Aham, I. Translation. As the material elements enter the bodies of all living beings and yet remain outside them all, I exist within all material creations and yet I am not within them. Purport. The gross material elements, fire, air and ether, combined with these subtle material elements, mind, intelligence and false ego, to construct the bodies of this material world. And yet they are beyond these bodies as well. Any material construction is nothing but an amalgamation or combination of material elements in varied proportions. These elements exist both within and beyond the body. For example, although the sky exists in space, it also enters within the body. Similarly, the Supreme Lord, who is the cause of the material energy, lives within the material world as well as beyond it. Without his presence within the material world, the cosmic body could not develop, just as without the presence of the spirit within the physical body, the body could not develop. The entire material manifestation develops and exists because the Supreme Personality of Godhead enters it as Paramatma or the Super Soul. The Personality of Godhead, in his all-pervading feature of Paramatma, enters every entity, from the biggest to the most minute. His existence can be realized by one who has the single qualification of submissiveness and who thereby becomes a surrendered soul. The development of submissiveness is the cause of proportionate spiritual realization, by which one can ultimately meet the Supreme Lord in person as a man meets another man face to face. Because of his development of transcendental attachment for the Supreme Lord, a surrendered soul feels the presence of his beloved everywhere, and all his senses are engaged in the loving service of his Lord. His eyes are engaged in the beautiful couple of Sri Radha Krishna sitting on a decorated throne beneath a desire tree in the transcendental land of Vrindavan. His nose is engaged in smelling the spiritual aroma of the lotus feet of the Lord. Similarly, his ears are engaged in hearing the message of Vaikuntha from Vaikuntha, and his hands embrace the lotus feet of the Lord and his associates. Thus the Lord is manifested to a pure devotee from within and without. This is one of the mysteries of the devotional relationship, in which a devotee and the Lord are bound by a tie of his spontaneous love. To achieve this love should be the goal of life for every living being. To achieve this love should be goal of life for every living being. Hare Krishna. So this verse is one of the Chatushloki Bhagavatam from 2nd canto, 9th chapter. This verse where it is said that the material elements, earth, water, fire, ether, air, and three subtle elements, they enter the bodies of all living beings. Within our body, they are there, but at the same time they are outside. They exist outside. So this is in this same way, the Lord is saying to Brahmaji, I exist within all material creation, andantarastha paramanu chayantarastham, in the form of Paramatma. But at the same time I am not within them. It's a bit controversial statement. I am there within, but at the same time I am not there. So as you read from Bhagavad-Gita 9th chapter, Maya tatamidam sarvam jagat abhyakta murtina masthani sarva bhutani nataham chesu avasthita. Immediate next verse he refutes his own statement. What is that next verse? Natamasthani bhutani pasyame yogameswaram bhuta bhunnascha bhutasta mamatma bhuta bhavana. Lord himself refutes his own statement. So both simultaneous controversies can exist only in Supreme Lord. That I am there, I am parivyapta everywhere in entire creation, but still I am not there. And they are within me, I am not within them. So all varieties of such things can exist only in the Lord. In the same way Lord is saying here. So first of all, this verse is an answer to the question of Brahmaji. Brahma asked one question. In Chaitanya Charitamrita we are reading Bhagavatam, because this verse is from Bhagavatam. So Brahma asked one question. This question in the same Chatusloki Bhagavatam 2:9-28. In that verse, Brahma asked a question to Lord. He says that Kridasi amogha sankalpa urna nabhir yathornute tatha tad visayan dehi manisam mai madhava. He Madhava. Brahma is asking to Lord Hari, Lord Vishnu, O Master of all energies, please tell me the philosophy all about them, especially about Srishti Leela. So how you are involved in entire creation, but at the same time you are not. He gives an example of Urna Nabhi, like a spider. You see the spider? The spider that covers itself by its own energy. And you must have seen the spider in the corner of the house. So Brahma gives this example of a spider. The spider and spider's web. The web is created by the same spider. Right? The wave is created by the spider. It is maintained by the spider. Everything is existing. As soon as the spider likes, the whole thing is wound up. Everything is wound up within the spider. So the spider is covered within the web. He creates, he maintains. When the suitable time comes, whenever he likes, he winds up everything. And as if he is taking inside. The same spider is covered within the web. If you have seen the spiders, that is within the web. So, Prabhupada writes in that purport that if an insignificant spider is so powerful as to act according to its will, imagine why cannot Supreme Lord act by His supreme will in the creation, maintenance and destruction of cosmic manifestation, just like a spider. He creates and he maintains and then he annihilates. Everything goes within and he remains aloof. So this was the question of Brahmaji. The answer to this question, Lord is giving one of the Chatusloki of Bhagavatam, this verse, which is we are discussing today. So here, he says, the entrance of the elements into the living beings is without attachment, since the elements are not conscious. See, within our body there is fire, air, ether, air, space, everything is there. But at the same time, you see outside, they are also existing. And they are not attached. They are outside, they are within our body. And Prabhupada gives in this purport, we just read, about the example of a sky. Yes, so he gives the example of sky. Just like sky is outside, in the same way ether is outside and also within the body. So the description is that in the same way, first you understand this example. The elements are there outside, also within our body, but they are totally unattached. In the same way, like a man who lives in his family life without attachment, a man lives, he does everything He maintains his family, his wife, his children, everything. He does all the household activities. He is a responsible family man, but within he is totally unattached. So Lord is giving example, just like a man is in this way, behave. I remain without attachment while entering, regulating, protecting all beings. I create, maintain, but I remain without attachment. But he overlook everything. Just like Prabhupada gives another example in one of the purport. I was talking with our Prem Prakash Prabhu yesterday, a civil engineer. A civil engineer, suppose he has a site to take care of the real estate. It's not that the civil engineer has to go all the time and he has to spend, he has to take the bricks and cements and no need. Under his supervision, one of his representative, whatever you can say, he does everything. Under him and so many laborers are there and so many persons are there working. The civil engineer always overlook how the things are going. And the perfect civil engineer, he knows in and out of the entire building. कौन से स्थान पे बाथरूम है, पिलर कहाँ है, everything he knows. Because although he is not there practically at the site, but he knows in and out everything. Where is the kitchen, where is the bathroom, everything he knows. So in the same way, Supreme Lord is there in the spiritual world, also is there here also, within the atoms, every atom. But he knows in and out of everything all about material world. And he knows everything about us also, before we think, before we even think. What to speak of saying? Before you think, the next moment, what is the thought in our mind? Capital He knows. You understand capital He? H-E. He knows. Therefore, some say, and Rath Yatra is coming, that means He is coming. And Supreme Lord Jagannath is coming on the road. So, He knows everything. So, here, he says that, Lord, he says that my pastimes, he has two kinds of pastimes, Lord's pastimes. One is Srishti Lila, another is Rasa Lila. The second canto, third canto is Srishti Lila, 10th canto is Rasa Lila. And both are important for the devotees. Isn't it? So he says, my pastimes are without attachment in relation to the elements. The only difference is that Lord's pastimes involve in the material world, involvement in the material world, and Lord's pastime with the devotees are a bit different. What difference? He says, my pastimes are without attachment in relation to the elements and the living beings within the material world. Srishti Lila में totally unattached रहते हैं. In the Srishti Lila, in the creation Lila, Lord remains totally unattached. But his Lila with devotees, like gopis and gopas and his dear devotees, he says that I love those pastimes. I become attached to my devotees. This is the difference. In Srishti Lila, he is totally unattached. He overlooks. But in his Braja Lila, his pastimes with his devotees, he is very much attached to the devotees. He loves his devotees. Therefore he says, but I desire to show myself. In this purport you see, then last, second paragraph Prabhupada writes, no, that because his development, transcendental attachment for the Supreme Lord, a surrendered soul feels the presence of his beloved everywhere. And Prabhupada writes in the purport that he meets the Lord face to face. In I think in another purport, in Bhishma Stuti, I think, Prabhupada writes, if you can remember, that who can see the Lord face to face in the pages of Bhagavatam? He starts in this way. One who was controlled of eating, sleeping, mating, defending, these four basic needs. One who has control of these four things, eating, sleeping, mating, defending, his mind is controlled, connection. One whose mind is controlled, he can hear with rapt attention, connection. One who hears with rapt attention the message of Bhagavatam, he can see the Supreme Lord face to face in the pages of Bhagavatam. Connection. Just see. So some statements of Srila Prabhupada are like golden letter statement, which can be by-hearted, remembered, uttered, discussed, sharing in social media to each other for inspiration. So here the same way, the Prabhupada writes in the purport that his eyes are engaged in seeing the beautiful couple of Radha Krishna sitting in a decorated throne beneath that desire tree. Just like, what is the goal of a devotee? We, the devotees, the practicing devotees, what is the goal? What should be our goal? Our goal should be like Narottam Das Thakur. What is his desire? Lalasamai. Tara madhye hema pitha astadale bestita astadale pradhana naika. Tara madhye ratnasane basiya chhe dui jane श्याम संगे सुंदरी राधिका ओरूप लावण्य राशि आमी पारेछि खासी हास्य परिहास्य संभाषणे. This is the desire of a devotee. What? Narottama dasekaya nitya lela sukhamaya sadai spurkamoramane. This is the goal of a devotee. This should be the desire of devotee. When the day will come, I will behold these pastimes in my eyes. So all the senses, Prabhupada writes in the purport, his eyes are engaged in seeing beautiful couple of Sri Radha Krishna sitting. His nose is engaged in smelling the spiritual aroma of the lotus feet of the Lord. His ears are engaged in hearing the message of Vaikuntha. There are so many verses in the Srimad Bhagavatam where it is written that how a devotee engages all his senses in the service of the Lord. Once I had gone to Chandra Sarovar. It's in Govardhan. Wherever our institute is there, just behind that. So, very nice, scenic and serene place to chant our rounds and meditate on Radha Krishna. There the place of the Samadhi of Surdas Ji. If you have visited, must have visited, or sometime you can go also visit. Very nice place. So I was reminded of one of his lines from his contribution. He says that all of our senses how engaged in the service of the Lord. Soi rasna jo hari gun gave. Rasna means tongue. That tongue is the best tongue, whose tongue is being engaged in the Hari Gun Gave, in chanting the Supreme Lord Hari's name, and in Krishna Katha and Krishna Katha. Soi rasna jo Hari Gun Gave, nainan ki chhabi yahi chaturta, जो मुकुंद मकरंद हिधावे. One who has eyes, what should be the perfection of the eyes? Not to watch TV or IPL. The perfection of the eyes is to behold the beauties of Radhe Shyam, Krishna Balaram, Sri Gaur Nitai. So all the limbs one by one, I don't remember the full song, but it was so wonderful song. He explains in that song, in that bhajan, that how Karto hi jo shyam hi seve Charanan chali Vrindavan jave. What is the use of our hands? Kara means hands. The hands, the perfection of our hands is to serve Shyam hi seve, to serve Shyam Sundar, and to serve the devotees of the Lord, to touch their feet, to touch them. Charanan chali Vrindavan jave. The perfection of our legs are not to go elsewhere. The perfection of our legs are to go to, when the time will come, I will rush to Vrindavan Dham. The people, those who are staying outside Vrindavan, they always think of, when some vacation, some excuse will come, I will rush to Vrindavan Dham. I will rush to Sri Giriraj Govardhan, Radha Kund, Shyam Kund. So they, with some excuse, devotees are so expert. You ask those who come from outside, they will ask to the temple authority or whatever, in the boss, the company boss, some excuse they will say that I have to go to Delhi, but they will get down in Mathura station. And devotees in ashram, they also give some excuse to the authority that I have some work in Mathura to purchase something from Loi Bazaar. This for dhoti kurta for devotees, deities for the Lord. And in that excuse, devotee come to Vrindavan. And that is one opportunity. So in this way, here, like that poet, devotee poet, Dasi, he is explaining how all the limbs are engaged in the service of the devotees, in the service of the Lord. So if such a devotee is totally engrossed and absorbed in the service of the Lord, so to such devotee, Lord says, but I desire to show myself to my obedient devotees who have entered my heart, who have perfected themselves and bow to me. Remaining separate, not entering their hearts, I desire to offer my beauty to their eyes. I desire that my fragrance enters their nostrils and desire to fill their ears with the nectar of my sweet voice. Speaking with them, answering them, Lord answers the questions of devotee. Want to try? Ask. A very famous statement that Srila Prabhupada in this very temple, he has said to the devotees that if you have any problem, any type of problem, any type of issues, come in front of Balramji and express to him. That in Mayapur, just like we have Narasimhadev, here we have Balramji, he has club. He'll destroy all our impurities, all our anarthas, and he'll give a right indication what to do. So he says that I answer them. I desire to make their limbs experience the sweet softness of my body by touching and embracing them. Thus, situated inside my devotees and externally as well, I perform pastimes with great attachment for my pure devotees, inside and also outside, for my pure devotees beyond the gunas. Actually, when devotees reach to the highest perfectional stage, they are like many. Dhruva Maharaj, he was meditating on the Lord in same Madhuban. The Lord was within, and at some point of time, Lord disappeared, and he was being bit disturbed, and he was anxiously, where is the Lord? Where is the Lord? Where is the Lord? Dear devotees, we have not experienced the glimpse of the Lord. If some devotee experiences some glimpse of the Lord, he will become pagal, mad. And Dhruva Maharaj was anxiously, where is my Lord? And then when he opened his eyes, he is there in front. In the same way, Prahlad Maharaj. Oftentimes Prahlad Maharaj, whenever there was calamities, atrocities, every time Lord Vishnu, Vasudev would come to protect Prahlad Maharaj, just like you go to Simhanchalam, Visakhapatnam, from the cliff, mountain cliff, the demons threw Prahlad down. That is the place where Narasimha Dev is there. So Lord Vishnu caught the Prahlad Maharaj. And Prahlad Maharaj, Ram se, ekdam swiftly, he was taking rest on the laps of the Lord. Imagine, Lord is holding the devotee. And when Prahlad Maharaj opened his eyes, Lord disappeared. That's why Lord wants to increase his anticipation of the devotee, that devotee wants in search of me. And Prahlad Maharaj was like a madman. Where is my Lord? Where is my... Just now he was there. He was protecting me. He was holding me. And now he left. In Nrsimha Purana it is written, on Nrsimha Chaturdashi we discussed this point, that every time Lord would come to protect Prahlad Maharaj, he would give a glimpse. And Prahlad Maharaj would see the Vasudev form of the Lord. But the last, or the final match, when Prahlad Maharaj's Papa, Hiranyakasipu, when he asked that whether your Lord is there in this pillar, in that pillar, he was indicating that pillar, that time Lord appeared in that pillar, and Prahlad Maharaj could see, it is clearly mentioned in Nrsimha Purana, Prahlad Maharaj could see directly, face to face, in front of everyone in the assembly of Hiranyakasipu, the Lord in that pillar, not in Vasudev form, but that was something different form. Satyam vidhatu nijavritya bhasitam, half lion and half man. By that time, in the pillar, Nrsimha Dev had already appeared, which even Prahlad Maharaj had never seen before. Therefore, he was wonderstruck. Oh my God, what a form of the Lord! What a form the Lord has appeared. Therefore, he said, he warned his father that my father, Lord has appeared. Protect yourself. Like that. The way he was saying, Hiranyakasipu said that now the time has come, there must be Lord. But it was not Vasudev form. So the devotee, the Lord gives some glimpse of his attributes, of his darshan to the Lord, so that the devotee will hanker for that. When the stage will come, let us discuss some. When this hankering will come? First of all, we have to start from Adau Shraddha, Tato, Sadhu Sangha, then Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nibruti, then we reach to the stage of Nishtha, or steady devotion, fixed up in our devotional service. And then what happens? Then sadhaka reaches to the stage of ruchi. There, let us discuss some symptoms of ruchi. Ruchi kisko kehte hain? When a person, a sadhaka develops a taste for, listen carefully, activities of bhakti, like Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Archanam, Bandhanam, all these activities of bhakti. Repeatedly I am saying, activities of bhakti. When a sadhaka develops taste in the activities of bhakti, like Sravanam, Kirtanam, when intense greed, intense taste to practice Sravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, deity worship, book distribution, all the activities of limbs of bhakti he likes to do, he loves to do. That is state of ruchi. But then he says, ruchi quickly produce, when someone reaches at the stage of ruchi, quickly produce a great attachment to the limbs of bhakti, to the activities of bhakti. And then this ruchi is of two types. What are they? It depends on excellence of elements and it doesn't depend on. I'll give one example. How this ruchi is of two types. For instance, he gives an example. This is from Madhurya Kadambini. Vishwanath Chakravarti gives an example. For instance, a man only experience pleasure from kirtan. I like the kirtan very much. The way Maharaj sings, the Prabhu sings, or the Mataji sings, or whoever sings. It is pleasing to the ear when it is artistically sung with wonderful musical instruments. It is very pleasing to the ear, and definitely we like such kirtan. This is one type of ruchi. And then second example, I like Prabhu's class, or I like Mataji's class, I like Maharaj's class. Why? Because it is being delivered skillfully with literary ornaments and qualities, with different examples, with various jokes. Oh, what a class, wonderful class. I like the class. And someone may say that I like deity worship. I want to do deity worship. So he says, I enjoy deity worship if all the implements, place and materials and ingredients and whatever, the jewelries, everything is of high standard, then I like the deity worship. So in terms of kirtan or katha or deity worship or any kinds of devotional service, activities of service, I like it if all these things are, considerations are there. This is just like a person who has low appetite, किसको भूख ही नहीं है, who has low appetite and who is not hungry, and you get a wonderful Rajbhog plate of Radha Shyam Sundar. You get a Rajbhog plate and give him, who doesn't have appetite, who doesn't feel hungry, or stomach is full, whatever reason, or because of sickness. He will say, that's okay, but thoda achar hota to acha hota. What is not there, he will ask for that. Why? Because he has not developed that ruchi. Ruchi is there, Rajbhog is there. Ruchi for Rajbhog is there, but he will search for what? He will search which item in the Rajbhog, Vrindavan Bihari Bhu? You know that, therefore he is laughing. He is particularly, he will want that particular item. That sandesh, that samosa, rasgulla, that is Rajbhog, not other items. That is you all can take. So there's some, there's chuji, there's a chuji. They like kirtan, they like katha, they like deity worship, and but there are some chuji. They, not all. So this is the first type of ruchi, in which there is a slight trace of impurity. Chakravarti Pada explains there is a slight trace of impurity. Therefore, if a person depends on the excellence of the material elements, agar kirtan aisa hoga to aunga main. If that singer is singing, then I will come. If that speaker is speaking class, then I will come. If everything is there, then I will do the service. If that consideration, that condition is there, of course that is ruchi, because he likes that. But not a high type of ruchi. There is some trace of impurities there. But then a person with the second type of ruchi will experience a great pleasure, whoever, whatever. If he speaks about Krishna, if he sings Krishna's name, my mind, my ears, my senses will be attracted spontaneously. Oh my God, Krishna's name is sung by devotee. He will not be so much chuji of tune or musical instruments. Just by hearing Krishna's name, he will be spontaneously attracted. This is the second type of ruchi. And in that way, all variety. Whoever speaks Krishna Katha, he will definitely go. This is talked about my Lord. मेरे प्रिय भगवान के बारे में बोला जा रहा है. This discussion, this katha is about my Lord. So let me hear. Whatever is best part, I will take it. He will not become chuji in the Bhagavatam class, or in kirtan, or in deity worship, or in any kind of services. So one should understand that he has, the previous one has a trace of impurity in his heart. So crossing this stage, there then the stage comes. That's called asakti. Let me tell you how the asakti. So here, yes, within 5 minutes I will wind up, then we can some discussion. See, wonderful he explains. Actually both ruchi. Okay. After this ruchi, a sadhaka reaches to the stage of asakti or attachment. At the stage of asakti, the creeper of bhakti lata bears clusters of buds. Clusters of buds. अब तक खिले नहीं है, खिला नहीं है. Buds, kali. These buds will in no time become flowers at the stage of bhava and fruit at the stage of prema. So the statement that ruchi has bhajan as the object of object means I had said that in the ruchi stage the sadhaka will be very much attached to the limbs of practicing bhakti. There are very sravanam, kirtanam, smaranam, deity worship, all the limbs of bhakti will be attached to do the practice, the limbs of bhakti. But in asakti stage, one step more, he will attach to Lord only. To serve the Lord, he will do anything and everything, whatever is required. Today, if he is told to, Prabhu, can you do this? Oh, this is for my Lord. Why not? He'll do. And next day, Prabhu, can you do this? The other one, oh, definitely, this is for my Lord. Because to whom we love, imagine in mundane sense, if we love someone, then we are ready to do anything and everything for that person. Isn't it? In asakti stage, the sadhaka will say that I'll definitely do. This is for the Lord's pleasure. So here asakti has the Lord or the object. In the ruchi stage, the bhajan is the object. Little difference. In the asakti stage, Lord is the object. And definitely the bhajan, the limbs of bhakti will automatically be done. Actually both ruchi and asakti have both components as objects, but less intensity in taking bhajan as object and greater intensity in taking the Lord as object. Asakti become distinguishable from ruchi. Asakti polish the mirror of the heart to such a condition that a reflection of the Lord may suddenly visible there. Here, हम कहते हैं ना कि भगवान का झलक हमें मिला. It's not so easy, my dear devotees. One who has come to reach to the stage of asakti, Lord gives a jhalak, a glimpse of his pitambar, of his flute, of his peacock feather. Any such glimpse he gives to the sadhaka, and sadhaka becomes, oh my God, as if Lord was here. Some yellow is as if pitambar was here, and some peacock feather I saw. So this little bit glimpse Lord gives. Before the stage of asakti, the devotee realizing that his mind has been overpowered by material objects and desires, but after putting forth deliberate effort, withdraws his mind and fixes it on Lord's form, qualities and personality. What he says, before the stage of asakti, it's our endeavor to put our mind and senses and intelligence, everything in the service of the Lord. It's our side. But it starts from nishtha stage only. But after nishtha, ruchi, asakti, the swarup sakti power is more. You see my hands gesture, I am showing something. So when we are practicing bhakti, we are trying to reach to the stage of nishtha. So this is our endeavor. But from the stage of nishtha, when the Ruchi and Asakti comes, Swarup Shakti's power is so strong that he will attract the sadhaka. There, our endeavor will be less, but the dragging power of Supreme Lord, his Swarup Shakti, that Ladini Shakti, his potencies, all that will drag the sadhaka. Automatically he will be attracted. So that's what he says, that in Asakti stage, the Lord's forms and qualities and activities will automatically remember. In the stage of Asakti, however, absorption of the mind in the Lord's is automatic, without effort. Now what we are doing? Chant Hare Krishna and be happy, we say. And be happy is not visible. Dikh nahi raha hai, kahan hai? We are just chanting Hare Krishna only. And we know what is happening in our life. We know. But in Ruchi and Asakti stage, it will be automatic. No need of alarm clock. No need. You will get up automatic. Everything very spontaneous. A devotee, when at the stage of Nishtha, cannot discover how his mind sometime withdraw from the Lord. Even at the stage of Nishtha, sometime the mind may go out of the track. He has to deliberately get it back again and again. But the quality of attachment such that mind withdraws from material topics and absorbs himself in topics of the Lord is not seen in one who has attained the stage of Asakti. This is, however, characteristic of devotee who has attained the stage of Asakti. No need to, mind will never go only. No need to drag. Mind will be always subject. Even if it comes, it will be insignificant. Means if the sense gratification comes in the mind, it will, mind will never attract it only. It will like, and then comes Bhava stage. And in the Bhava, the symptoms of Bhava stage is prior to Prema stage. That is explained in this purport of Srila Prabhupada, where he writes that his ears are engaged in hearing the message of Vaikuntha, his hands embrace the lotus feet of the Lord and his associates. Thus the Lord is manifested to a pure devotee from within and without. From within and without. This is one of the mysteries of the devotional relationship, in which a devotee and the Lord are bound by tie of spontaneous love. To achieve this love, see, love means your bhava, according to Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. To achieve this love should be the goal of life of every one of us, every living being. So this is being described in this verse and purport. I stop here, and if there is some discussion we can have, if you have some queries and questions, yes, please. Hare Krishna.
As you mentioned, Krishna, Supreme Person brought it completely detached with this Srishti Lila and completely attached with the Ras Lila. But when we read this 11th canto, 5th chapter and 32 verse, Tyagvasa is Chitra Lakshmi. And in this commentary of by Srila Sridhar Goswami, he wrote Krishna becomes attached to the devotees, but some higher purpose, he left all devotees.
Yeah, I understood.
How we understand is completely detached or attached.
So,
if anyone completely attached, so he never can abandon anything.
Yes. So, Lord is completely attached and also detached. The simultaneous controversy can exist in the Lord. So such type of verses and statements are filled in the Shastras. Na vidyate cha janma karmani. So all these Gajendra Mukhastuti, you will see, all are like this. Lord is attached and all at the same time Lord is not attached. Isopnisad also so many verses. So point here is, dear devotees, that Lord in this Srishti Lila, He He creates, maintains and does everything, but it's not attached. Just like if we make a flat, 2 BHK flat in Chaitanya Vihar, suppose, and we become totally attached. But Lord has created not 2 BHK universe, such a big gigantic universe, but he totally unattached. But he is attached to the devotee. But in that case, for superior higher cause, for superior cause, he exhibits the pastime of detachment, but within he is very much attached to the devotee. Like I will tell you one example, there are so many. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was going to Vrindavan, we are here Vrindavan, coming to Vrindavan. So he crossed Mahanadi of Katak. Okay? He crossed in the boat. And then Gadadhar Pandit was behind him. He cannot survive without Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And you know that pastime. The boat came to cross the river. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu repeatedly saying, Gadadhar, go back. You have taken Kshatriya sannyas. You will never leave Puri. He said that, hell to the Kshatriya sannyas. I want you, Gauranga. Oh Lord Gauranga, I want your association. Hell to Kshatriya sannyas. But then he was keep running behind. Then Supreme Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he boarded on the boat. At that time, Gadadhar Pandit was gazing at Supreme Lord Gaurahari and immediately fainted on the ground like a banana tree. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not look even behind. Can you imagine? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gadadhar Pandit is so dear, did not look behind and he moved ahead. So, the reason is that Lord Chaitanya wanted Gadadhar Pandit should be in Puri. So, sometime you see Lord exhibits, Lord behaves in such a way for a higher cause, for a superior purpose, definitely. Even Lord's representatives, spiritual masters, sometimes Guru Maharaj will look at you and sometimes he will just look at and then ignore you and he goes. It's not that he doesn't love you, but for some higher cause, he has to behave in that way. Hare Krishna.
As you said in the beginning that the elements of material body, they exist outside like earth, water, fire, everything. So I just wanted to know the elements of subtle body like mind, consciousness and thoughts. Do they exist outside? If yes, how do you understand?
Yeah, it's there too. And if you read the Bhagavatam universe, the description of the universe, the coverings of the universe, they are there 10 times than the previous one. Earth, water, fire, ether, all these things. 10 times than the previous one. When the gross coverings are over, then the subtle covering starts. Mind, intelligence and ego. They are also 10 times than the previous one. And the ahankar is the biggest covering. And then, yeah.
I want to know, do they exist outside? Like you said,
Yeah. No. They are within and outside, the way I explained, no? They are outside in subtle form, of course. They are in subtle form, which you can't experience. Subtle forms. They are there in the Brahmanda universe. There is there in that way.
But there is no, there is not any example or analogy by which you can understand?
No. There we can experience only when you cross that border. Like some Krishna and Arjuna, they crossed that and they saw one by one after. Yes, Mataji.
It's for reflect on this question because in Bhagavad-Gita they said that Radharani is the strength, living strength, the sticks of the vegetation in the trees, for example. So you can see that there is a resident intelligence for the natural world, and that there is a way that Krishna subtly function of karma we have a plane for that we expand our energy, potential of love and devotion. So inside us we have all these elements, and outside also for each entity was the sixth ladder, and inside the fifth six they are already on the destiny and the future. So for the universe is the same.
Yeah. They are there in outside also. In every living being and outside in the Brahmanda. Okay? ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि बोल। हरी हरी।
थोड़ा थोड़ा दिया जाता है क्या? हाँ? थोड़ा इंटेलिजेंट, इतना बड़ा लेयर है उसमें से थोड़ा थोड़ा दिया जाता है।
हाँ।
कितना दिया जाता है?